Hello everyone and welcome back to part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, I highly encourage you to go back and watch that and come right back here. So to recap what we did in part 1, I wanted to combine the painting American Gothic, the Belcher's holiday cards starring Louise, and some pumpkins. First, we sketched a layout of the house and the pumpkin farmers. And then we made their heads. And this is the pumpkin head that is based off of Louise's face. You guys let me know what you think about that one. We also made their bodies and clothes. And a little hand. And now we're all caught up. So I realized I was overthinking painting the background when I figured out that the farmers are going to be covering up the majority of it. So that's when I decided to just focus on the windows. So I thought it'd be cool if I painted them red, so it looks like something sinister is happening in the house. And you can see me doing a red wash around the windows to make it look like it's glowing. And I'm trying to paint in a tiny little hand on the window. I hope you can see that. And to finish off the background, I just paint a chicken. Okay, so we're starting with the wife, and I go over her dress with a brown base coat, hitting the folds and creases with a darker brown, and dry brushing a lighter brown over all the raised areas. And then along the one side of both farmers, I go in with a red dry brushing to look like the red glow from the window is touching them. For the farmer's skin, I just go over it with a dark brown and dry brush some green until it looks like a pumpkin stem. Since they're going to be faced away from the light, I don't want the colors to be too bright. So for her collar, instead of going in with a bright white like in the painting, I'm starting off with a medium gray and just hitting the tips of the collar with some white. For the pattern on the dress, I mark out with some white pen exactly where I want them all to go. Then with some black paint and a detail brush, I paint in the knives. I hope the pattern comes across as knives. If it doesn't, well, you and I both know that they're knives. Onto the other farmer. Coloring his overalls, I just go over it with a light denim blue that I slowly darken with darker shades of that same blue. Then going over that with a little bit of highlight. His jacket is just a dark blue, and I wanted to keep it like that. I want to have certain areas stand out from each other, so I just hit those areas with a lighter blue dry brushing. And then I color the neck and the hands the same way that I did the other farmer. Here I'm just building up the colors in his shirt from the base color of gray and hitting the raised areas with some white. After that, I paint the buttons black, then I paint the metal of the pitchfork black before going over it with a metallic silver. So starting back off with the wife, I wanted her pumpkin's head to be like one of those minty blue-green pumpkins. So I first go in with the green base coat, and then I dry brush some minted blue on top so you can still see that green poking through that blue. I wanted the carved areas, like the eyes, nose, and mouth, to look like it's glowing a bit. So I overpaint this green color that I'm using. And then on top of that, to blend it back in a little bit more so it's not too overpowering, I go back in with that same minted blue color. For the eyes, I wanted to give it the appearance that the eyes are following you around. So I use my ball tool and just place it as much in the center of the eye socket as I can so that when you move around it, it gives the illusion that the eyes are following you. Now I just line up the head to the body so that the red light from the window lines up properly on the farmers. For the last pumpkin, I do the same thing that I did the first one, but with orange. I go into all the nooks and crannies with a darker orange, slowly building back that color with lighter dry brushings of orange. For his lumps, I go over all of them with yellow. So I ended up changing the eyes. I had the idea after it was all done to make the eyes 3D. So I just rolled some balls of clay and just glued it into the eye sockets, and it looks a lot better. So I had this frame that I wanted to put them in, but the paint that was on it was too bright. So I just darkened it up with some black paint that I dry brushed some silver on top of. And that's it. We're finally done. Let's see the result. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I hope you all enjoyed this just as much as I did creating this. Let me know what you all think in the comments down below, and I'll see you soon. Bye!